So to begin, we are going to start setting up our project structure. In the course links below, you will see a link to our assets. So if you go ahead and download that zip folder and you extract it, you will see two folders inside. One will be audio and one will be images. So our audio has a few sound effects that we'll be using for our game throughout our courses. Some of these include like an item pickup, when the player attacks, when the player takes damage. In the images folder, you'll see a few sprite sheets. One of them will be characters and the other will be items. So this will be a few different assets we'll be using throughout our game. You'll also see a test spawner image, and you also have a UI folder that has a few UI buttons inside it. So to start setting up our project structure, we're going to go ahead and create a new folder called Zenva underscore MMORPG. So we're going to go ahead and take our assets folder and place it inside this folder. So now in here we'll have assets, and let's go ahead and make another folder and we'll call it JS. So this will be used to keep track of all our JavaScript files that we use in our game. And let's go ahead and make a new subfolder called lib. So the lib folder will be used to keep track of any external libraries that we want to use for our game. So of course we'll have Phaser inside here. So for the time being, we'll include both the Phaser and the Phaser minified file. One other folder we want to go ahead and make while we're in here is we'll make a CSS folder. So we'll use this to keep track of any external CSS files that we create while making our game. So now that we have our basic structure for our project in place, let's go ahead and open up the folder inside your code editor. So one way to do this in VS Code is when you open up VS Code without any folders selected, you can go ahead and click on the file icon here and then choose Open Folder. We'll go and navigate to the folder we just created. So this will go ahead and reload the code editor, and you'll see that we have our assets in here. Next, we're going to go ahead and start up our web server for hosting our files. So we're going to go ahead and come into Chrome, go click on Apps, click on Web Server, and we're going to go ahead and choose Folder. And we're going to go ahead and choose the folder we just created. And that will be the root of our project. So now when we click on the link, you'll see that localhost 8887 is now hosting our static files. So you'll see we have our assets folder, we'll have our images, and so you'll see that it's serving up that file through HTTP. So we're going to go ahead and go back, and then let's switch back to our code editor. So the first thing we need to do is create an HTML page. So the HTML page, because this is the JavaScript library, we will be including the JavaScript files in our HTML page, and that HTML page will be what is rendered to the end user when they visit our site. So we're going to go ahead and come up here, we're going to go ahead and create a new file, and we're going to go ahead and call this index.html. So then we just need to create the basic structure of an HTML page. So we'll do doctype HTML, and then we'll create our HTML tags. And let's go ahead and create a head tag, and then a body tag. Okay, so the head tag for our HTML file is used to put any meta information for our web page here. This includes things like any viewport meta tags we want to have, if we want to have a title displayed on our web page. And it's also used to including external resources that we want to be loaded before our web page starts to render. And then our body tag is used to render the content of the page. So this will be like any of the text, the images, anything we show on the site. For the purpose of our game, this is where we're going to have our canvas element. And it's also where we can include any JavaScript files that we want to be loaded after our page has started loading. So the first thing we're going to do in our head tag is we're going to create a new meta tag. just going to give it a character set of UTF-8. And then we're also going to create another meta tag, and this is going to be a viewport meta tag. And so we'll do content equals user scalable equals 0. Do initial scale equal to 1. We'll do minimum scale equal to 1. Maximum scale equal to 1. Width equals device width. And minimal UI equals 1. We'll close our tag. So what this meta tag does is, by default, if it's not provided, a mobile device will try to render that page at a typical desktop screen width, and then it'll try to scale that page to fit the mobile device. This can lead to a bad user experience because trying to render that large page on that small device means the user has to zoom in to try to view the content. It's not a very pleasant experience. By including that tag, it allows us to set the width and height of our viewport. So you'll see what we did is we went to the device width, which allows it to then treat that as the maximum width, and our page will be rendered much more cleanly. So next, we'll go ahead and we'll add a title property. And we're just going to go and call this Zenva MMORPG. And then down in our body, let's go ahead and create a div. And we're going to give this div an ID of phaser-game. And then next, we're going to go ahead and load in our external JS files. So we're going to do script source, and we'll do assets, JavaScript lib, and we'll do phaser min. And we'll give it a character set of UTF-8. And we'll have our closing script tag. All right, so if we go ahead and save our changes and we switch back to our browser and you refresh the page, you'll see that a few different things. First is our asset list has went away. The reason for this is when the server detects an index.html page, the server will render that page at the root path. So if we would have named our HTML page something like main.html page or game.html, we would still see a list of our files here. So you'll see that our index page is being rendered, but we don't have any content currently. But if you look at the title in the tab here, you'll see that it has the title we specified. And we'll go ahead and we'll do inspect. We'll do council. Let's leave that for now.